Hey, what's up? Wanted to drop a quick video, give you an update. It's Wednesday, week 5 of the Innovation and Open Source Learning class, and we've actually started transitioning into the project phase of it. We've been talking a lot about mindset, viewing the world as opportunities, not problems, identifying your talents and passions and aligning those with the project. Now we're to the stage where we're actually developing project proposals. So rather than just say, go do a project, we're forcing them to stop, slow down, think about benchmarks, think about a culminating project, and then what intermediate steps need to occur in completion of it. So we've provided them with a proposal template. They have to identify what the project is. It has to meet 3 criteria. They have to be passionate about it. They have to acquire some new skills in the completion of the project, and it also has to serve other people. Once those 3 boxes are checked, they have to identify at this point what they can identify as intermediate phases or steps to completing it, and also what mentors, either by name or by general description. I will need someone who knows how to organize an event. I will need someone who knows how to code an app. So if they have particular people, they can drop those names in. Otherwise, they just have to give general descriptions. They also have to anticipate, predict how long the course, how long the project will take to complete, and then they'll actually propose a point value based upon a scale we use to assign point values. So we gave them the template. We talked about it Friday, and today we actually said go. And some of them took right off. Some of them have been working on it since we introduced the template almost a week ago. So we're all over the place, and we want to make sure that we're giving the appropriate support wherever that student is needs it. Now we knew that this first project was going to be extremely trying, not only for the students but for us, because we still have some students, understandably, that are like, I don't know what I want to do, and that's okay. The challenge is that I've got 17 other students that are at different phases. Some are also in the same spot. Some people need more specific support, and the benefit is we have 2 of us in there, but we need to be able to support those students to brainstorm and generate an idea. And we have some strategies we can do with them, but it really requires us to be with them and not have a line of other students. So I think what I need to start doing is, the other teacher and I, we need to actually start pairing these students up. But we also don't want to take away time from other students for their actual project work. But we can't be there and scaffold and brainstorm and do all of that for every student. It's not feasible. So that's the part we're still struggling with a little bit. I'm excited just seeing the students start giving some structure and substance to these projects has been really exciting. What the biggest thing I noticed is that they want to light the world on fire. They want to do this super encompassing project that's going to have 11 different phases. It's going to involve a podcast, a website, a social media strategy, and everything that goes, and then an online course, and all these awesome ideas. And they said, this is going to take all year. What I want to tell them in my heart is that it's probably going to take a lot more than a year to do all of that. So they just have some just logistical questions. How do I break this up? So what we've tried to encourage them to do is still keep these overarching goals in mind, all the things that you want to do, but you need to come up with your vision and mission for whatever it is you want to do. That's the overarching theme or goal, but we need to break it down into manageable projects. So with one particular student, she wants to develop a social media strategy company. She wants to work with organizations and businesses to develop effective social media strategies, which is awesome. But then she also wanted to develop an online course to teach people how to do it. She wanted to do a website. She wanted to do a lot of different components to it. And we were able to kind of work backwards. And I said, what's the MVP, the minimally viable product? Like, what's the least developed thing you can actually put out there to start getting feedback from people? And really we narrowed it down to, she needs to have a client base. And I don't think it was arbitrary, but we came up with the number 3. So her first project is to develop a client base of at least 3 customers. Now, we use the term customers loosely because she knows she's not going to be able to charge. She's using this as experience. So for them, it's great because for the businesses or organizations, it's great because it's free labor, essentially. She can utilize her skill set, which is targeting her marketing to the customer base that the organization or business wants to market to. And she's developing some confidence and some skills, and most importantly, a portfolio. People don't care what you know; they care what you can do and what you have done, and that's what she's actually doing. So we've really set up this first project is she's going to develop a client base of at least 3 individuals. And I pushed her to say, hey, we're going to do one that's a nonprofit, one that's going to be a for-profit, and then one of them will actually be a brand, like an individual brand. So a person that's trying to develop a branding strategy for themselves. So this could be someone that's maybe getting into fashion, getting into cosmetics, someone that's getting into athletics, someone that's getting into music, and they don't have a product necessarily to promote. It's them. They are the product. So I thought that'd give her a really diverse background in some client experience. So that's her first identifiable project. Beyond that, whether it's the podcast or the website or the online course, those can be subsequent projects. But I think it's really important. And what I learned today is that we really need to help support students to pare down their goals to measurable benchmarks. Now, even within that measurable benchmark, which is a client base of 3 people, she has a lot of intermediate steps. The most important is she needs to start networking with people that already do this and do it well. And she can't do that by just going out and saying, hey, I'd like to do what you're doing. Tell me everything you know. I'll buy you coffee. She's not going to get a high response rate. So what I told her is you're going to need to invest and work at building relationships. I've adopted the 10% rule, and if anybody has something more accurate, I'd love to hear it. But the 10% rule. I used to be in sales, and that was kind of the number we looked at. For every 10 potential customers you reach out to, you'll have 1 conversion. You'll have 1 sale. I kind of think the same thing is going to happen as they try to network with people, influencers or mentors. For every 10 lines you throw out in the water, you're going to get 1 fish. And that's frustrating to her because she's mentioned that the people that she's reached out to, she hasn't heard back from yet. And that's why I told her that's what separates people that are committed to people that aren't, is you're going to continue to reach out to those people, work different angles, and you have to start by adding value. Hey, I love what you're doing, so you need to engage with them on social media, comment on their posts, share their posts, engage with them. You're giving value to them by exposing them to your network. Then you can maybe start working in some actual strategy questions. Then you get them with the right hook, Gary V. You've given value to them, and you've helped them in some way. And sometimes that just means by being engaging and active with them. It shows that they're appreciated. Then when you say, hey, I'm in a class, and as part of this class, I'm working on a project where I would like to develop a digital branding strategy consulting company. And I see the things that you've done, and I'm super impressed by it. What are some things that you might recommend that I do to get started? And in a period of time where we're used to the instant gratification, that's hard because these things take time to develop. But that's going to be the litmus test to how committed these students are to their projects. Are they willing to wait and put in the work? Those are the 2 hardest things. But when those things do come out, that's what makes it really worth it. So I just wanted to share that. It's been probably the most productive day we've had in 4.5 weeks. It's the hardest work we've done, but it's been the most gratifying. And I didn't get around to every student today, and I think that's going to be the case. So the next step, they're going to put their proposals in. The other teacher and I are going to confer. We're going to take a look at it, and we want this to be done professionally. So it's going to be evaluated based on grammar, structure, vocabulary, spelling, and we're going to make them resubmit it until this thing is of professional quality. Then what we're going to do, if we've come to an agreement on this is a doable plan and it's appropriate, is they're going to be required to create a project plan. We're not quite sure on the tool yet. We want to give some flexibility on that, but they need to be able to plan. They need to set deadlines and a timeline to make sure that they are staying on top of it. And we've got a couple of digital tools that we're going to take a look at with them. But once they have established their project timeline, then they're going to go. So all those steps that they have identified and those that they discover as they go, they're going to be utilizing class time every day to actually bring these projects to fruition. So it's exciting, just what I saw today, and I really look forward to highlighting the student work and just demonstrating what's possible when you give students some time and some support. So awesome day. Just wanted to share that. Hope you guys are having an awesome week. And until next time, stay tuned.